What is up, everyone out there in the world of YouTube? It's me, your buddy Nessa, better known as GreatLove91 on Twitter, and this is the Squared Circle Addicts YouTube channel. Happy Friday, guys! It's Friday evening here in California, and for some of you it might be Saturday morning, which means today is a big day because it is NXT TakeOver Cardiff. Again, if you're watching this on Friday evening, that means tomorrow is NXT TakeOver Cardiff for you guys. But not only that, but it's also AEW's AllOut pay-per-view. So it's a day full of wrestling, or tomorrow, whatever time zone you're in, doesn't matter. But either way, I am hype, and I am here to bring you guys my predictions and my personal wants for both wrestling events, that being TakeOver Cardiff and AEW's AllOut. I'm actually pretty excited that I get to watch both because one is at 11 a.m. in the morning and then the other one is until like 5 in the evening. So for those of you who might be wondering, for Cardiff it's 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 1 p.m. Central Time, and then 2 p.m. Eastern Time. And then I believe AllOut, the pre-show starts at 5, I believe, so 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, which would be 8 p.m. Eastern Time. I'm pretty sure you can view AllOut on pay-per-view through Fight TV, and then of course NXT TakeOver Cardiff can be viewed on the WWE Network. So yeah, let's get into the predictions, shall we? Starting off with NXT TakeOver Cardiff. Now before I get into the official card, I actually want to discuss a match that will be taking place this weekend but won't be airing on NXT TakeOver Cardiff. It will actually be airing next week on Wednesday on NXT but NXT UK, which is the match between Rhea Ripley and Piper Niven. This match has been building. They have been trash talking each other. They have had brawls over the past week. So this match definitely has high tension. As far as who I think is going to win this match, I gotta give this one to my girl Rhea Ripley, and not just because she's my girl, because trust me, I love the Viper, Piper Niven, but I think that what happened this past week on NXT involving Rhea Ripley, spoiler alert, if you guys don't know what happened, she confronted the NXT Women's Champion, Shayna Baszler. I reacted to it on this channel, so if you haven't seen it and would like to, feel free to check that out. But the whole point being is I don't think they would let Rhea confront the champion Shayna Baszler only to lose her match to Piper Niven. Now the only way that I could see her losing this match is if a returning Tegan Nox somehow gets involved. In fact, to be completely honest, I'm quite disappointed with WWE and the NXT UK people, I guess, Triple H, whatever, for not making Tegan Nox versus Rhea Ripley happen at NXT TakeOver Cardiff. Their feud has been building for the past year, with the fact that the last time Tegan Nox wrestled on television was against Rhea Ripley in the Mae Young Classic, and then she injured her leg, and that's why she's been out. And in that time, Rhea was always going to Twitter and talking crap to Tegan, and now nothing is happening. So I'm kind of disappointed in that, especially because in this feud with Shayna Baszler, Rhea seems to be playing the face, kind of like a badass anti-hero type thing. So I don't see how a feud between her and Tegan Nox is going to work, and the fact that we might not ever get to see that is kind of frustrating to me because that is a feud that I have been wanting to see come full circle for the last year. But either way, again, I think Rhea Ripley is going to win that match just because, again, I don't see the point in confronting the NXT champion and then losing. And that's not a dig at Piper Niven because I love her, but it just doesn't make sense from a booking standpoint. Anyway, now moving on to the actual card for NXT TakeOver Cardiff. The first match on the card is Noam Dar versus Travis Banks. For this one, I like them both. I think Noam Dar was incredible when he was in 205 Live, and Travis Banks has been incredible since he's been on NXT UK. However, I am going to go with Travis Banks. Moving on down the line, Dave Mastiff versus Joe Coffey. I am going to go with Dave Mastiff for this one, simply because I like Dave Mastiff a little bit more. Next, the NXT UK Tag Team Championships are on the line as Zach Gibson and James Drake put their titles on the line against Mark Andrews and Flash Morgan. And then also Mark Coffey and Wolfgang. It's going to be a triple threat match for the tag team titles. I am going to go with James Drake and Mark Andrews for this one. I definitely like not James Drake. I butchered that. Mark Andrews and Flash Morgan, just because I'm actually a huge fan of Mark Andrews, and same thing with Flash Morgan, and I think that it would be nice for them to carry the tag team titles. However, I don't know, maybe Zach Gibson and James Drake retain, but I'm going to go with my initial feeling and my gut feeling and give this one to Mark Andrews and Flash Morgan. Next match is the match I'm most excited for on the official card, and that of course is Toni Storm defending her NXT UK Women's Championship against Kaylee Ray. To be quite honest, it was funny because I was watching this Battle Royal and I really wanted Piper Niven to win it, but it didn't happen. Actually, I originally wanted Rhea Ripley to win, obviously, but then I was like, maybe she won't because maybe she's going to feud with Tegan, and that didn't happen either. And then my second choice was Piper Niven, and obviously that didn't happen either. Nothing against Kaylee Ray, I absolutely love her too. I think it's crazy how she's been playing the heel in this storyline and kind of doing that thing of like, you know, telling Toni Storm that everybody's ashamed of you, even your dad's ashamed of you, blurring the lines between like reality and, you know, reality and obviously kayfabe, because obviously Toni Storm has had a lot of ups and downs. We won't get into that, but obviously, so I thought that was really cool. I don't know. I think Toni Storm retains this one. To be honest, I love Toni Storm. It's Toni time all the time. But to be honest, like I kind of sometimes forget that she's NXT UK Women's Champion, and maybe people might look at me and be like, "Oh, Nessa, you're being biased because you love Rhea Ripley, and like her title reign wasn't that long either." But I don't know. And I mean, it would be cool to see Kaylee Ray win it and have a heel champion again. However, I think that with NXT moving to the USA Network and NXT UK still being on the WWE Network and kind of having some involvement in the USA deal, I think they're going to need like a star or someone with star power to represent that brand. And I think out of the two, that is Toni Storm. So I'm going to go with Toni Storm retaining the championship. And then, now, on to the main event as Walter defends his NXT UK Championship against Tyler Bate. The good boy, Tyler Bate. Big, strong boy. I love Tyler Bate. He's one of my favorite wrestlers in the UK brand. I loved him when he was in 205 Live. I think it's so cool how, like, small he is, but how strong he is. Like, big, strong boy. Totally makes sense for him. I think he's a phenomenal wrestler. However, as much as I want him to win this, as much as my heart wants it, I definitely don't see it happening. I think Walter retained after a grueling match. I feel like, you know, Tyler Bate's going to give it his all, only to be defeated by the great and powerful Walter, simply because I don't see NXT UK being like, hey, we're going to end nearly a 2-year NXT title reign in Pete Dunne, give it to this guy Walter for him to only lose it on it. I believe it's like his second title defense. It might even be first. So, yeah, I definitely do not see Walter losing, so I'm going to go with Walter retaining. And that's your NXT UK Cardiff TakeOver card. By the way, my friend Laura and my friend Hayden will be at NXT TakeOver Cardiff, so if somehow you guys are watching this, hi guys, have a great time, and I'll be looking for you on TV. Now, moving on to AEW's AllOut pay-per-view taking place in Chicago. Wait, I lied. Before I move on to that, I totally forgot to mention that Cesaro made a declaration that he will be in attendance for TakeOver UK Cardiff, that he's showing up. So I don't know what the hell he's going to do, who the hell he's going to confront, but I definitely think that this is a very interesting thing for Cesaro, and I think him being a part of the NXT UK brand is going to do him wonders, so we'll see what happens there. Okay, now officially moving to AllOut. Again, taking place in Chicago. This is a event that has been highly anticipated. I'm actually looking forward to it, so let's get into it, shall we? First, on the pre-show, it's the women's buy-in battle royal, and then whoever wins, I guess, they get a future NXT women's, not NXT, sorry, an AEW Women's Championship opportunity on October 2nd. So, for me personally, I would love to see Britt Baker win the whole damn thing, and if not Britt Baker, I'm going to go with Nyla Rose. Some of the participants in this match that I'm super hyped for are Jazz. The return of Jazz is happening. We got Shaza McKenzie. We've got Eve Elise. We got Roddy Piper's daughter. I forget her name, and I'm sorry. I apologize for that. But she's going to be in the Battle Royal. I believe Smiley Kylie is going to be making her return. Kylie Ray, that is. Let's see, who else is in this Battle Royal? I know there's a lot more people. There's Sadie Gibbs. This pay-per-view, this Battle Royal is stacked. Like I said, though, my heart is going with the Dr. Britt Baker. I just think it makes the most sense. I think she's the most notable name in AEW's promotion right now, so I definitely think it will be her winning this Battle Royal. Now moving on, Private Party versus Angelico and Jack Evans. Man, this is a tough one because I actually like both teams, but because I am more familiar with Angelico and Jack Evans, I am going to go with Angelico, and Jack Evans. Moving on, we have Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy with Marco Stunt versus SoCal Uncensored. Man, this one's hard because I really don't know all that much about Marco Stunt, but I do know a lot about Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy. I absolutely love that team, as silly as it kind of might be and like unexplanatory as it might be. I still like them, but I think SCU is more of a true faction as opposed to these three, you know. So with that being said, I'm gonna go with SoCal Uncensored. Next up is the only women's match, well, not the only, but, well, yeah, I guess, the only women's match on the main card, and that's Riho versus Hiroko Shida, or Haraka, I don't know how to say her name, Hikaru Rashida, I don't know how to say her name, guys, please forgive me, but, I'm assuming, again, this is me just assuming, so don't take it for facts, but, I think possibly the winner of this match will face whoever wins the Women's Battle Royal in October 2nd when AEW debuts on TNT. I could be wrong, but I feel like that makes the most sense. And for this one, I am going to have to go with Riho, just because from what I've seen of her in the last 3 AEW pay-per-views, or events rather, excuse me, she was really impressive to me, and I really like her style of wrestling, so I'm going to go with Riho on that one. The next match is another tag match with Best Friends versus the Dark Order. Again, I like both tag teams, but I am going to go with the Dark Order here because they won that big tag team event at, Fight of the Fallen, and I didn't expect them to win, and they did, so I think they're going to keep to their winning ways and continue on there. Again, another tag match. So many tag matches on this card. And this one's probably going to be the most exciting tag matches out of all of them. And that is the Lucha Bros versus the Young Bucks. Brothers versus brothers. I'm really super excited to see how this happens. And I think it's going to be like a very fast-paced match. And we're going to be in for a treat. I'm not going to lie, guys. I have never really been a fan of the Young Bucks. To be quite honest, I find them quite annoying. That's fine if you guys don't agree with me. That's the thing about wrestling. It's all subjective. So with that being said, I am going to go with the Lucha Bros. This next match is a triple threat that I am, again, probably this is the match that I'm most excited for, with the exception of the Women's Battle Royal, and that is the triple threat between Joey Janela, Jimmy Havoc, and Darby Allin, the king of the death matches, if you will. This one's going to be wild. I really, really hope we see some crazy stuff in it. I really hope so. If not, I'm going to be disappointed, because it's like, why put 3 of the most combustible elements that you have on your roster, and then we don't see crazy. So I'm going, who do I want to win this one? Honestly, I love Jimmy Havoc, and I love Darby Allin from what I've seen from him. I think I'm going to go with Darby on this one, though, just because when he wrestled Cody Rhodes, I believe it was at, that was at Fight of the Fallen, right? Or was that Fyter Fest? No, because Fyter Fest was a tag match with Dustin and Cody, and then, okay, so yeah, it was Fight of the Fallen. When he wrestled Cody at Fight of the Fallen, and then obviously Shawn Spears prematurely ended that. I think it's crazy because, like, Darby Allin showed a lot of heart, you know? Like, there was no quit in the dude. So I think, playing off of that story, I definitely think he has to be the one to win. Otherwise, what was the point of doing that? So, like I said, I like all 3 of them, honestly, but I'm going to go with Darby Allin on that one. And then the next match, also a match that I'm quite looking forward to. Cody versus Shawn Spears. I said it in my last AEW prediction video. Again, that was Fight of the Fallen, I believe it was, where I was talking about how, or I think I said it on the podcast, actually, how when Shawn Spears came out and hit Cody Rhodes with that chair and, like, knocked him the hell out and busted him open, I feel like that was Shawn Spears making his declaration and being like, you know, I'm going to be the face of this company, not you. I don't know, I just think they're trying to build Shawn Spears into something huge, you know, and something that matters, which is great. So with that being said, 10! I'm going to go with Shawn Spears because I've always been a fan of Shawn Spears when he was Ty Dillinger in WWE, and I think that obviously in WWE they gave him the short end of the stick, so I really do want to see him get this win. And again, yeah, going with Shawn Spears. This next one, it's a little bittersweet to talk about because it is not what it was supposed to be. And honestly, this was the match that I was, like, most hyped for, like, even before the Women's Battle Royal. And that was originally supposed to be Kenny Omega versus Jon Moxley. However, unfortunately, Jon Moxley is dealing with an injury. I'm not even sure what type of injury, but he is going to be out of All Out, no pun intended. And yeah, I'm really, really bummed about it, but it's interesting to see Pac in here. And for those of you who do not know who Pac is, he was formerly known as Adrian Neville, or Neville, but he was supposed to be, I believe, at Double or Nothing, but then there was this thing about how they couldn't come to a contract deal between him and AEW. But apparently all of that is settled now, and it's going to be really great to see him in the ring. However, with that being said, and the fact that Jon Moxley isn't going to be in this match, because originally I was like, yeah, there's no way that they're going to make Jon Moxley lose. Of course he was going to win, but now I definitely give more of the edge to Kenny Omega, so I'm going to go with Kenny Omega. And then, of course, we have the main event as Adam Hangman Page takes on Chris Jericho for the AEW World Title. The first AEW World Champion will be crowned, and I would love Adam Page to win this one, but I definitely think they are going to give it to Chris Jericho simply because at Double or Nothing, when Jon Moxley made his debut, he beat the shit out of Chris Jericho, and I feel that, like, by giving Chris Jericho the title, that opens the door to continue that feud between him and Moxley whenever Moxley is medically cleared. And I just think that that's what's going to happen. I think Jericho's going to be champion, and especially because he is one of the bigger names in AEW, I don't see why they wouldn't give their first world title to him to hold for the first time. So Chris Jericho is my pick for that one. And there you go, there you have it. There are all my predictions for not only NXT TakeOver Cardiff, but also AEW's All Out. But I'm not done yet, because I forgot probably the most important thing coming into this weekend is the fact that All Out is in Chicago, Illinois, the hometown of the one, the only CM Punk. Obviously, he's doing StarCast tonight, actually, I believe, and he's going to have or maybe it was earlier today, I don't even know if there's video of it online, but apparently he's going to have a live microphone, and you know that when CM Punk has a live microphone, things are going to get a little bit crazy. He has a meet and greet, obviously, on the behind the scenes All Elite channel. I forget what exactly it's called, but they posted a video of CM Punk in a wrestling ring, and I think they titled it like CM Punk in the wrestling ring again or something like that, and he's pretty much just kind of like just running the ropes and talking about how it hurts him. I don't know, it seems very much like he's trolling, but obviously there's that big question of, like, you know, will he show up at All Out? It's in Chicago, it's in his hometown. If he does indeed show up in All Out, is it going to be a one-off? Is he signed with All Elite? Because apparently he's done with MMA, and in recent years he's talked about how he doesn't love wrestling anymore. So there's that question of, will he ever come back to wrestling? Then there's that argument that people have with AEW's schedule would be a lot more lighter than WWE's, which is something that might appeal to CM Punk's liking. So there's a lot of freaking questions surrounding CM Punk and his involvement in All Out. To be completely honest, if you guys know me, you know that I used to be a giant CM Punk fan from like 2000, all the way from like his Straight Edge Society days to his, Best in the World, Money in the Bank, 300 plus day title reign. But honestly, the way he left things with WWE, it left me very bitter, and it left a very sour taste in my mouth. Yes, I get it. WWE isn't always sunshine and rainbows. Of course, we know that from Jon Moxley, but that's the thing. I really wish that CM Punk would have handled things the way that Jon handled them. Again, Phil is his own person, Jon is his own person, but I just didn't like how CM Punk left the WWE without any word, without saying anything to his fans, to his haters, whatever, and then he became really bitter, and then he pretty much shit on the entire wrestling business as a whole. He kept calling it fake. It was just very off-putting to me as a longtime wrestling fan. So because of that, I grew a strong dislike for him, especially not only that, but on a personal level, his religious beliefs and the way he was kind of always mocking Jesus would bother me as a Christ believer, but that's neither here nor there. But again, all of those things kind of turned me off from CM Punk and kind of made me, want to keep my distance. However, I cannot sit here and say with a straight face that if he comes back tomorrow, that it's not going to be major for professional wrestling. If this happens, this will be the game changer. This will be the moment of you're going to be like, holy shit, where were you when CM Punk made his return to professional wrestling? This is what's going to get people to pay attention to AEW. And this is what's going to bring eyes to AEW when they get the TNT deal begins October 2nd. I feel like this would be huge for AEW if they could acquire a name like CM Punk. And to be honest, I probably will mark out tomorrow. Again, I can't lie. I can't sit here and, with a straight face and say that wouldn't be a big deal. So I guess only time will tell. Will the straight edge superstar, or straight edge wrestler, I guess now, will he make his return tomorrow? I guess we shall find out. But yeah, guys, let me know down below what your predictions are for not only All Out, but NXT TakeOver Cardiff as well. And I hope you guys enjoy it. Tomorrow's a day full of wrestling, so it's a happy day for us wrestling fans. Alright guys, good night, good morning, whatever time zone you're in. Take care, stay safe, stay happy, but most importantly, stay addicted to the squared circle. Later, guys.